Hi, my name is Jacob, and I'm a consultant here at the Math Lab. In the previous video, I showed you how to use Cura to turn an STL file into a G-code file. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Athena Franklin software to turn that G-code file into an actual physical object.
If you are lucky, you'll see this screen when you go to access Athena Franklin. What this simply means is that the printer and computer have been asleep long enough that the two devices have lost connection with each other. And sometimes it can be resolved just by easily clicking the OK button and letting the screen refresh. However, that doesn't always happen to be the case, and many times you'll find that Safari will tell you that it cannot connect at all. And so sometimes refreshing the page helps. Sometimes you have to go further than that. And if you have to go further than refreshing the page, I highly suggest that you get with a consultant and they will work with you to either unplug and replug in the machine and then refresh the page or some combination thereof. But it's just better to get with a consultant and they will be able to help you with getting towards the next step. Once you have actually successfully gotten the computer and printer to reconnect, it will show you the actual graphical user interface, which if it's assuming everything is working properly, you should be able to home it. And the way we can home it is actually just by clicking the home button as indicated by the arrow. Now, if it homes, it should move on and you should hear the printer start moving from there.
After the printer has homed itself, we then want to upload the file that we just made. So to do so, I'm just going to go to Choose File and say I just want to upload this test print cube G-code. So then I'll click Choose and then I'll click Add. Notice now that it is saying parsing G-code, which that's all that is just Athena determining and processing the code itself. And then when it finished, as you can see, it then inserted it into this list. Once it has been parsed and the code's been uploaded, we can then select it and make sure that it's highlighted like so. And then we can click Print Selected, and the printer will then move. And then it'll also get in position to start getting up to temperature. Now, if this chart doesn't show up right away, just click the refresh button and you'll see that it starts creating a temperature chart where our target is 210, and then in at least as close to real time as possible, the temperature of the hot end that is being measured by the printer itself. Then, after it gets up to temperature, it will then move to actually start printing the object that you have created this G-code file for. One thing to note is that you want to watch the first few layers of the print just to make sure that the print is going to adhere to the build plate very well. Just for the fact is that if it doesn't, this is most likely where the print will fail. Now, that's not to say the print doesn't fail later on, but 9 times out of 10 the print will fail because it has poor build plate adhesion. That is part of the reason why we actually have tape on our build plates to help out with that.
So now, enjoy this time lapse of a keyboard keycap puller being 3D printed. Alright, so just as a review of our 3-part video series, in the first video, I showed you how to obtain an STL file. And that could be done with CAD software, Thingiverse, or even Mathematica if you really felt inclined. And then in the second video, I showed you how to slice that STL file into G-code using Cura. And I showed you that you have ways of manipulating the STL file in Cura to either make it bigger, smaller, or rotate it so that way you have a better print surface to start with. And then in this video, I showed you how to actually upload that G-code file into Athena and then actually 3D print the object itself. So for the most part, this is the general process. Almost every single 3D printing process will follow at least these steps, or at least follow these steps to some degree. Now, that being said, who's to say how things are going to change in the future? But, at least for the 3D printers in the math lab, this will be the process you will use to get your actual 3D printed object.